Specification forms in Adagio Payables have different layouts than standard invoices or statements, and different considerations are needed when designing these forms. The usual layout for checks printed to paper forms would have a section dedicated to the check and either one or two advice sections, depending on the check stock on which you are printing. Within each advice, you would have a detail section specific to listing paid invoices, or a detail section specific to listing GL distributions on a cash invoice. Or both detail sections can exist, and only the correct one is used when printing either payments or cash invoices. It doesn't matter which order these sections are positioned in, because you can open the Specification Options settings and change the order within the Check Sections area to match the check stock. Because there can be multiple advice sections on a page, and could potentially be any size, the program won't know precisely how many advice details could fit within the section without overflowing. Therefore, the maximum number of details need to be manually calculated and entered here. Measure the total height of the advice area on the check stock, and subtract the section heights of the advice header and footer to determine the area allotted to details. Then, divide this value by the height of the detail section to get the number of details, rounded down to the nearest whole number. If you have vendors with higher volumes of invoices to pay, much higher than this maximum details value, rather than printing checks with this form and wasting pre-printed check stock, instead, set up an alternate checks and advices form, where the detail section height is 0, and the advice header is formatted to look like it includes details. Include a text label in this area to see an attached form for payment details, since no details will print. And in the specification options, enter a maximum details value larger than expected invoice volume to pay, as this number is used internally by the program when printing. Printed checks will only ever print on one page and not waste stock. The payment details would then be printed to plain paper, or perhaps even emailed, using an additional form specification. This advice-only remittance form would contain all the payment details, either a list of invoices paid or a list of distributions from a cash invoice. Remittance advices don't have to be used only in this circumstance, but can be printed or emailed to vendors after any successful printing of checks or generating an electronic fund transfer. In addition to checks, you can also print or email communications to vendors with a letter form type. These specifications have a single special section devoted to form letters, in which you can insert text paragraphs using memos or labels, and customize with database fields that prints vendor information. If you are a Canadian company required to print vendor T5018 forms, or an American company required to print vendor 1099 forms, there are sample specifications designed to fit the form layout. Each use the same special section as letters. T5018 forms are designed either as two-part forms with information replicated on a full page, or with a smaller section that would print multiple vendor forms on a single page, with another special section inserted to break between vendors. 1099 forms are designed to print two vendors on a page, with the same spacer section inserted to ensure the information fits correctly on the form when printed. Generate the vendor forms you need in Adagio Payables with the right specifications. Find out more about Adagio from the product page on our website. Watch another training video on this Adagio program from the playlist, or subscribe to the Adagio YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.